My palms are so sweaty right now.
For all the charisma the Top Gear trio became known for over the years, we all know Jeremy Clarkson's big mouth was the great equalizer, in more ways than one. 21 years ago, this clip showed us that driving didn't have to be serious. And for some of you, it's where your obsession with bringing cars built for the track onto the road began. This 2018 Ariel Atom is an evolution of that car and totally street legal. It's got a supercharged Honda K20 behind the driver, an LSD, and of course, the only hope of putting that power down is through the rear wheels. Only 10 of these were built and exclusive for the North American market. But is it just a cheap adrenaline hit? Let's find out.
All right, you guys, so to start it, kill switch. This is why this car cannot be a daily, because you're not gonna be able to park this and then just, you know, there's no key required. You could just run up to this and take it, if you knew how to drive stick, of course. Flip that, that's the kill switch. Now power is on, and then next thing we do is make sure it's in neutral because it does not have a neutral safety switch. That's a little bit frightening. Ignition is right there. Wait for the fuel pump to prime and then hold the engine start button. Boom. There you go, now you've got your Ariel Atom started, and it looks like a bug hit the GoPro. That's gonna happen a lot. In fact, it'll probably end up in your eye or in your mouth or somewhere else, but let's go drive. Typical Honda, right out of the gate. Super easy clutch. Okay, so turn signals, it doesn't auto turn off. So it's like a motorcycle, you've got a little switch. Oh my. Oh, this is driving. This is driving. The intake right behind my right ear. Even the slightest little bit of throttle. I mean, the go-kart comparison is such an easy comparison to make immediately, but it's just the surroundings that make everything very different. The fact that I'm able to see my feet makes it very easy to get in and just drive. I'm looking through the plexiglass here, and I can see the Wilwood calipers and all the ball joints and little suspension bits moving around. The front splitter. Am I at the apex? Am I 2 centimeters off? All of this comes through. Heavy steering, really heavy steering. Once you get some load in the tires. No, words cannot describe this car. Videos cannot do this car justice. Yeah, it stepped out just a little bit there because I was not prepared for the corner that was coming up. Fully, you feel the rear end. I don't feel like I'm sitting on the rear axle. I'm pretty much in the center. Now, this is just a transaxle, transverse mounted engine. So the engine, yes, is mid-mounted, but it's basically over the rear axle. So it feels a little bit closer to a 911 in that regard. It's nothing like a 911. You get what I'm saying. The steering wheel, so small. No power steering, of course, because it doesn't need it. So on center, it is fairly light, but then you get a ton of feedback when you dial in the lateral load. Eyes wide, ears open. This car requires the most amount of focus I've ever experienced on the road. Top 3. I mean, it might sound crazy, but this feels more comfortable than a GT4 RS. The seats are not as comfortable. The seats are like, okay, I'm not driving more than an hour. 1 or 2 track sessions, that's it. But for that amount of time, like, the spring rates are set up really nicely. It's got helper springs. It's one-way adjustable, so you are able to adjust the compression, but it's pretty comfortable. There's a little dead spot on center in the steering. Just a little bit of play in the rack, but everything else is like laser precise. 3rd gear. Oh yeah. A little bit squirrely. Starts moving around at high speeds there. I'm not looking down. You do not have enough time or mental capacity to look down while you're going towards the top of 4th gear. And the gearing's nice and short. You're constantly shifting, constantly engaged. Not that this engine needs it. All Honda engines, all good Honda engines are known for VTEC, are known for that, the top end that you want to be in. And what a supercharger does is just, it allows you to drive it 3,000 RPM, 300 horsepower, has never felt this quick. The intake sound. I mean, just rev matching takes a little bit to get used to, but rev matching, the sound of the intake opening behind you and the supercharger whine, insane. Brakes are pretty good. Short pedal travel. Flipping this is the most satisfying thing. My palms are so sweaty right now. Okay, you guys, I had to get out for a second just so you could hear me. My ears are ringing, and we'll get back into the car in a second, but the 3R in front of me effectively takes a K20 Z3, so it's the later K20 engine, and sticks a supercharger on it, okay? 300 horsepower, 222 pound-feet of torque, and then the 3R also gets you a bunch of carbon bits. So you've got the carbon on the front here, the carbon wing, of course, the fenders, lightweight wheels. Oh, and look at this. You've got luxury enhancements, you know, to make this feel more like a car, more isolated from the wind. You've got some plexiglass here, and then this 3R has the fixed seat. So these seats are connected, of course, so yeah, you just kind of have to set this and forget about it. The big difference is the Atom 3 in North America got a naturally aspirated K24 or a turbocharged K24, which made 365 horsepower or thereabouts, an insane amount of horsepower. But if you don't want a turbo Atom, this is pretty much the last one here in North America that you could get. Of course, it's built in Virginia, so basically a company that's licensed to build these for Atom here in North America. And then of course the later Atoms, the 4 and the 4R, they're generally sequential transmissions. There's more of a focus on big mechanical grip, even though it still is a crazy lightweight car and everything like this. But if you want the supercharged engine, manual transmission, this is one of the best ways to do that in North America. And not that a car that weighs 1,360 pounds needs a lot of brakes, but 4-piston in the front and 4-piston in the rear, Willwood brakes here. And these tires, we are on our 888s. Now, the owner of this car runs a different set of tires, a better set, I would say, on the track. Now, he did flat spot one of those tires. It happens on the track, of course, no ABS in these cars. So we're running our 888s, not my favorite tire, not his either, but it's great here on the street. I mean, you might think, you know, 245s, I believe, in the back, 205s in the front would not be enough grip, but there is a lot of grip And a lot of the later Atoms don't have this windshield. It's kind of nice. You know, as far as a streetable Atom, this is pretty good. It's not that uncomfortable, surprisingly enough. So of course, as you guys can see, inboard suspension, double wishbone suspension. The owner of this car was telling me every 500 miles or so, or you know, once you do a couple of track days, you have to go in and manually kind of check all your nuts and bolts because they might get loose. There is a ton of care that goes into kind of maintaining a vehicle like this. The one area that you're really not going to have to maintain is the engine. It's a Honda engine. It's a Honda transaxle. When you look at it from a distance, it is just a simple recipe. A recipe as old as time, a boosted transaxle engine under stressed, and then you just take everything away. This weighs 1,360 pounds. So to put it in perspective, a second generation Toyota MR2 Turbo SW20 weighs a little bit more than double this. More than double this. So it really just gives you an appreciation of how much work that engine, the K20, would be putting in a car that weighs 3,000 pounds. It's so effortless in this car. Feels like I'm going a lot faster than I actually am. It's the beauty. I'm doing the speed limit. It feels like I'm going double the speed limit. I'll end up in jail. The throttle pedal is incredibly easy to modulate near the top. It's fairly relaxed actually. But as soon as boost comes in, as soon as that supercharger adds in positive pressure, then it becomes a little bit more twitchy and you want to be pointed straight for the most part. The mirrors are actually kind of useful. Oh yeah, there we go, rear end coming out. You've got torque everywhere, but as soon as you hit 6,000 RPM, it's game over. It's game over. You're either gonna make it or you're not. It's so insane. But you're just playing with the mechanical grip. That's all I'm feeling here. And it did step out for like a brief moment. Just a hair. And we're not on the greatest tires. I'm on R888s here. I can still feel the rear end coming out a little bit. I haven't got to the point of real understeer, just enough progressively coming in. Oh, I just got like a fly in my mouth or something. It just responds so quickly to every input. It's amazing. It's so incredibly raw. I cannot believe it. I mean, the amount of little adjustments you have to make constantly just makes the car feel so alive. It really brings out like all your flaws as a driver. All the little adjustments you have to constantly be making are just like shoving it in your face how terrible of a driver you really are. Like how much modern cars are really doing all this magical work behind the scenes for you.
Some cars are constantly feeding your ego. You know the ones, telling you you're a big shot, a real hero. The Ariel Atom is so balanced, but it exposes everything for what it really is. So when that rear end steps out on you and you're able to finesse your way smoothly into the next corner, it feels like a real win. High stakes, high rewards. A high downforce track car like the GT3 RS is a bit miserable at low speeds on the street. The Atom, though, demands downforce, but only because it would otherwise get swept away with the wind. It makes any drive on the street at any speed the most fun you've ever had. Yeah, it's going to test you on the track, but I'm not sure that would be the Instagram post you'd make on Monday. It is, without question, another excuse for adrenaline. This time, one that doesn't require a trailer. Next week, I'm finally driving the 718 Cayman GT4 RS, so if you don't want to miss it, subscribe, and we'll see you then.